Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about pop-up flowers. Absolutely love these cards. They're going to be fantastic for a bouquet on a birthday card, Mother's Day perfect. But I just thought how pretty were these spring papers, and they just pop up. I've added a bit of glitter, some lines. I actually inked mine on this one so that it matched the papers. And also I'm just going to show you, these aren't finished, but if you cut the flowers with a pointed edge, they just look completely different. I've just coloured in little lines there. On the other one I did straight lines. I'm going to go through some of the techniques with you. And this little one, that's just done with a die, which is this one here. Now that's a 16 petal. Now you can use 8 petals is the best. 16's okay, you can still do that with them. But 8 petals is the best. You do cut one out and I'll go through it as we go along. But yeah, you can do it with your Cricut, your brother scanning cut, stamps and cut them out. So as long as they're 8 petals, then you'll be fine to go. So I think we should get started, don't you? Make this lovely blossoming card. Right, so what you need to do is cut yourself 7 squares of paper. I'm going to use multicoloured paper so that you can see the layout, how they glue together. But what you need to do is just fold them diagonally. And I've got double-sided because that way you can see what I'm doing when I go to put them all together. So you fold the paper in half diagonally and then you fold point to point. So you're going to roughly hold your finger where the centre is and bring that point over to there. This is where all the cutting gets done. Get my teeth in. So then you fold this flap because you've got a closed flap there and then you've got 2 there. So you can only fold one back. So let me show you again. You folded it in half diagonally and then you fold it in half again. And you've got an open part here and a closed part there. So with the open part, you're going to bring it to the closed part. So you're going to bring this over to reach there like that. And then you're going to turn it over and do exactly the same on the other side. You can't move this one. There's only one you can move. So it's pretty easy. So that's what you need to do for that. Now, this is where you choose the shape that you want. So you can draw it on and don't worry about it because you cut a petal out. So if you've got drawing on your petal, you can cut that one out because one has to be lost. What I like to do is decide what sort of shape I'm going to go for. And it doesn't really matter. And what I'll do is we'll just cut anything. And then I'll sort of like go halfway and then just don't finish it. I'll do that. And then what I do is I'll get my next piece and I fold it diagonally, point to point, like this. And I fold point to point again, across there. Going to bring this open point back over to the fold and push it down. And then do the same with that one. Now what I like to do now is I'll put this one back on top, so it's exactly the same, and then I'll draw around it where I've been already, whoops, so keep it exactly where it was, and I'll draw around it like that, and then what I'll do now is I'll flip this over, pop it back in place. And then what I'm going to do is have a symmetrical piece. Now you do need these to be quite symmetrical. So it's good you can use your dies and your scan and cut, your punches, anything like that. But it's also really simple to draw it. So now that's more of an even shape. So now I've got one, what I'll do is cut that out. So just go around there. And it doesn't matter if you can still see the line. If you don't get it all the way around, I've got quite thick paper here. And only use paper, you won't do this with card. Be too difficult. So now we've got our first one. So just keep one back for a minute and then finish the lines on here. So we can finish drawing around this one and finish cutting that one out. And then we've got 2 to play with. And I can show you a few little things. So that's how I go about making my shape. Now obviously you can change your shape. You can do doubles in there, triples in there, anything like that. So just finish that one off as well. So we've got our bits, and they do ping everywhere. And then we open them up. You can see we've got all our score lines that we've made in there. And there's now 8 petals. So you've got 8 petals. Now you need to cut one of these away. I'll find my other scissors, bear with, just grab these, and you just cut one way. So if you've got one that's a little bit wonky, now's your time to cut it off. If you're going to do your gluing, drawing or anything like that, you would do it before this. So now what I do is I keep that petal that was waste and I use that as my template and draw around all the others. So when I've got my others folded, I just use that one to draw around it, or any of the others that you cut off as well. So I'm just going to open up this one and just show you a few things that you can do. So you can obviously get your pen on your petals, and like with the, well, I'll show you on that one in a minute actually, and you can just do lines. So just do lines coming out. Let me zoom in a little bit. So this is what I did on the one that's in my spring card. I just did lines like this, and I went around and I did lines all the way across like this, and that was it. Simple as that. And then you'll get an effect that goes on there. The other thing you can do is you can do little doodles. So if you think where you are, so go between the lines there, do a little circle, and then a smaller circle and a smaller circle, and that's what I did with my lilies, and I'll just join those up. Obviously you can colour these in if you want to make them stand out a little bit more. You could add glitter to them, anything like that. If you're doing stamping, then you could heat emboss them. That would look so beautiful. But just any little doodle really, you know, just do little squiggles like that. And you could have a little separate thing going on down here if you wanted, put veins into it. So it's entirely up to you. You can also ink them. I ink to the edges of mine, and you just get your ink pad and you just come in gently on the edges. I ink the whole in yellow. So you can take your inks to it, you take your watercolours to it, your colouring pencils, just anything really, alcohol pens, anything you've got. So that's how you make them, and you obviously cut one out. So we'll just do two. So just cut one out like that. And that's what you do for that. So we've got another template there in case we break the other one. Then all you need to do is add some glue to one of the petals. And I like to use my Pinflair bookbinding, which is a PVA type glue. It's nice and strong. Now I have seen demos with this in the past where they just use a Pritt stick or, you know, a glue stick. But I like to use wet glue, like PVA glue, because it will hold, unless your paper is super thin, and it's not going to hold. So what we've created there is a little domed flower. So now it's a dome, and then what you would do is you would squash it like that to make three. Now I like to reinforce all of these lines, so I just spin it around, and then I know that whichever way it bends in the card, it's going to be fine. So that's all you do. That's it. You need to make 7 of those. So you cut them all out, and then you just take that bit off. Let me show you one more time. So you just add glue to one of the petals, either side of the hole, so where you've cut the hole, and then you just pop the glue onto there after you've coloured it and decorated it, and then you've got your little dome flower, and you fold it flat. Now I'm just going to show you something about the this little one here. So if you get a die and it's got 16 petals on it and you've cut it out, you obviously haven't got your lines or anything to follow. But let me just see if this end is bigger. I think it is. Yeah. So what I did with this one is I just dotted. So I just dotted little bits of dots all around the edge. And then I just came in, and as I got closer and closer to the middle, I put more and more dots down. And I just really sort of went for it in the middle. You obviously won't want to watch me doing this for ages, but you just build up more and more and more, and then you can just start going back out again, almost spirally if you like. But just get more in the middle, because it would be more dense in the centre and then it'd be sparse on the outside. So that's all you need to do for that. So when they're decorated and dried, I'll just set that one aside and grab another one. So when you're using a 16 petal die, you still have to fold it in half. Now, you can't do diagonal because you wouldn't know where diagonal is. Now, don't fold it in half. Let me try and make it do it like that. So you're going to be squashing a petal in half at the end there. You don't do that. Just flip it around and make sure they just all line up. So that's one score, and you're going to make a cross. So you know you've got to go up there to make the cross on the back. So like that. So So you've got 4 petals if you like. But now we're going to make a cross going. So we've got our diagonal there. Don't know if you can see that. Let me just highlight it. So we've done a diagonal through there and a diagonal there. And now we're going to have to go crossways. So we're going to go there and we're going to go there. You could draw that on the back if your pen doesn't leak through, because it wouldn't matter. So you do that. I can't remember which ones I've done now. That's done. So we need to reinforce this one. See, the pen leaks through on there, so you wouldn't draw it on the back because it would come through to the front. It all depends on your paper. Just do it on a little test piece, a little waste piece. And like that. So we've got our 8 petals again. So we've scored them all. And 2 is 1 petal. If you turn over, let me just show you the lines better. So we've done like an asterisk, if you like. So we've done a cross, we've done a diagonal, like that. So you do exactly the same thing. You cut away 1 whole segment. So you go into the centre there, into the centre there, take that away, and then you would glue the whole of this, a little smear, and then squash it together. So you're doing 2 at a time. So there you've now got that. You've got your dome again. You need to have this dome shape. And then what you would do again is fold it flat. So you fold it flat, so you've got your 3 segments like you had here. You've got your 3 segments. You've still got 3 segments. You've got 3 of 2. So that's how you decorate and that's how you make your flowers. So now how to put it all together. So I've already cut out 7 for you, and I'll just grab those in. And you need 7. So the reason I did it like this was so that you could see all the different colours here and exactly where they're going to all be going. So you start off with your first one, like that, and you only add glue to the tips of the petals, otherwise it just becomes very squashed inside the card and it doesn't really pop out. So we're going to add glue either side. And then you take another one that's folded flat, so you've squashed them all flat, and you just pop that one onto that segment. So you're covering that segment there, and put another one, and you're covering that segment there. So the spotted was our original. Just wait for that glue to dry. Did I put glue all the way down? No, I hope not. No, just put it at the top. Practice what I preach. So just let that take for a second. And then you can check to make sure that you've got them lined up. You can move away these petals and you can see there that's not very well lined up where it moved around so much. So you can just pop that and squash it and let them dry. So that's the first stage done. So we had our spots, we put this one on and this one on and left that middle one alone. So just 1 petal touched, just the tips of those petals touched. Then we're going to lay another one down. And we're going to lay it back where the original one is. And it does get fully covered. So you're going to put your glue on all 3 of the top petals. So the original and then the top 2 of the new side ones. And then you're going to lay this exactly where the other one was. So 1, 2, 3. Give it a good old rub. I'm not going to check it if it's out. You know that we could have checked it. But I just need the glue to dry while I'm doing the demo. Then with this one, remember last time we just put glue there and glue there, and then we came in at the angle and you're just going to cover that back up again. But you're also going to put glue down here because we're now joining these 2. This is a single flower here. This is just 1 piece, but we're going to make it 2. So it needs 2 points of glue. So we're going to pop that over and it will just take at the top there and on that next one there. So you're gluing those 2 down. I would normally check it and make sure it's perfectly alright. But like I say, I've already done the glue. And then we just lay this one back over onto that one there. A bit of squash. It's gone off a little bit, hasn't it? A bit of squash. And then finally, our last piece. You have got, where you joined it in 2, it's a little, you've got an overlap there, so there's 2 pieces there, so it's a lot thicker. And really, it'd be better to squash it that way because this is the one that gets glued to the card. It's got a bit more strength to it. I should have done that on the first one. It doesn't matter, you don't have to, but it's just a good idea. So again, where we started with number 1, we're going to finish there. So this one has the 3 at the top, and then you just go 1, 2, 3 on there, like that. Now, you can make these as big or as small as you want, and you can make the card as big or as small as you like. Obviously, the size of the paper that you start with, and also the size of your card. So you can see we've just got that dry. Now I'll just bring in my card. It's just a 6 by 6 inch square card, and you're just going to lay that down on the left hand side so the opening is facing the middle like that. Okay, so that's all you need to do there. I'm just a little bit concerned this isn't dry. We'll find out in a minute when I pull it apart. So now I'm going to glue all of that centre petal. So all of that one there, smear it, all of that one there. Make sure these are not touching that score line, but close to it. And you can see I could make this card smaller. I could cut all of that off if I wanted. And then you just hold that in there. Make sure it's fully rubbed down. Flip it over. Open it up, and it's on that side now because the glue's taken. And then we're going to put glue on this petal in the centre. So you've got your opening here, and you put your glue on that side. Just smear that around like that. And just close your card and give it a good rub. Thanks to everyone that's subscribed already. I do appreciate it, and I'd love it if you would if you haven't already. Thank you all. And now for the reveal, let's hope it's dry. You just got to open that back up, and you can see we've got that abundance of colour in there. It looks really gorgeous actually, doesn't it? I'll just zoom out so you can see it a little bit better. So you decorate your card obviously, put your sentiments and everything on the front, and voila! Absolutely stunning, aren't they? I just think they're so nice. They're just so pretty. And if you would put your little decorations in the middle, it would look great, wouldn't it? So have a go. Let me know how you get on. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.